GPT 4.1 is a mini upgrade by ZV Mauschowitz, April 16th, 2025. Yesterday's news alert, nevertheless. The verdict is in. GPT 4.1 Mini in particular is an excellent practical model, offering strong performance at a good price. The full GPT 4.1 is an upgrade to OpenAI's more expensive API offerings. It is modestly better but costs 5x as much. Both are worth considering for coding and various other API uses. If you have an agent or other app, it's at least worth trying plugging these in and seeing how they do. This post does not cover OpenAI's new reasoning models. That was today's announcement, which will be covered in full in a few days once we know more. Introducing GPT 4.1, 4.1 Mini and 4.1 Nano. That's right, 4.1. Here is their live stream, in case you aren't like me and want to watch it. On the one hand, I love that they might finally use a real version number with 4.1. On the other hand, we would now have a GPT 4.1 that is being released after they previously released a GPT 4.5. The whole point of version numbers is to go in order. The new cheat sheet for when to use GPT 4.1.
Will Brown. It's simple, really. GPT 4.1 is O3 without reasoning, and GPT 4.1 Mini is O4 Mini without reasoning. O4 Mini Low is GPT 4.1 Mini with just a little bit of reasoning. O1 is 4.0 with reasoning. O1 Mini is 4.0 Mini with a little bit of reasoning. O3 Mini is 4.0 Mini with reasoning that's like better, but not necessarily more. And O4 is GPT 4.5 with reasoning. If you asked an OpenAI employee about this, they'd say something like, "That's wrong, and an oversimplification, but maybe a reasonable way to think about it."
I think that's wrong, but I'm not confident I have the right version of it. They are not putting GPT 4.1 in ChatGPT, only in the API. I don't understand why.
Sam Altman. GPT 4.1 and Mini and Nano are now available in the API. These models are great at coding, instruction following, and long context, 1 million tokens. Benchmarks are strong, but we focused on real-world utility, and developers seem very happy. GPT 4.1 family is API only.
Greg Brockman, new model in our API, GPT 4.1. It's great at coding, long context, 1 million tokens, and instruction following.
Noam Brown. Our latest OpenAI model, GPT 4.1, achieves 55% on SWE Bench verified without being a reasoning model. Michelle Pokras and team did an amazing job on this. New reasoning models coming soon, too.
The best news is our price cheap, combined with the 1WEM token context window and max output of 32K tokens.
Image. The image shows a pricing table for various GPT 4.1 models with columns displaying costs per 1M tokens across different pricing categories. The table compares three models, GPT 4.1, GPT 4.1 Mini, and GPT 4.1 Nano, with their respective prices for input tokens, cached input, output tokens, and a blended pricing option.
Based on the benchmarks and the reports elsewhere, the real release here is GPT 4.1 Mini. Mini is 20% of the cost for most of the value. The full GPT 4.1 looks to be in a weird spot, where you probably want to either go big or go small. Nano might have its uses too, but involves real trade-offs. On your marks, we start with the official ones. They lead with coding, SWE Bench in particular.
Image. The image displays a horizontal bar chart titled SWE Bench Verified Accuracy, comparing the performance of various AI language models. GPT 4.1 leads with 55% accuracy, while other models like OpenAI O3 Mini, 49%, GPT 4.5, 38%, and GPT 4.1 Mini, 24%, show varying levels of performance on this software engineering benchmark.
I almost admire them saying, no, we don't acknowledge that other labs exist. They have an internal instruction following eval. Here the full GPT 4.1 is only okay, but Mini and Nano are upgrades within the OpenAI ecosystem. It's their benchmark, so it's impossible to know if these scores are good or not.
Image. The image shows a horizontal bar chart titled Internal OpenAI Instructions Following Eval Accuracy, Hard Subset, comparing various AI models. GPT 4.5 scores highest at 54%, followed by OpenAI o1, high at 51%, and OpenAI o3 mini, high at 50%, with GPT 4.1 mini achieving 45% and GPT 4.1 nano scoring 32%, accompanied by explanatory text about the evaluation methodology at the bottom.
Next up is multi-challenge.
Image. The image displays a horizontal bar chart titled Multi-Challenge Accuracy, comparing performance of different AI models. OpenAI o1, high, leads with 45% accuracy, followed by GPT 4.5 at 44%, while GPT 4.1 scores 38%, GPT 4.1 mini achieves 36%, and GPT 4.1 nano performs lowest at 15%, with an explanation at the bottom noting that multi-challenge tests models on multi-turn conversations.
This is an outside benchmark, so we can see that these results are mid. Gemini 2.5 Pro leads the way with 51.9, followed by Claude 3.7 Thinking. GPT 4.5 is the best non-thinking model, with various sonnets close behind. They check IF-Evil and get 87%, which is okay probably. O3 Mini High is 94%. The mini version gets 84%, so the pattern of 4.1 does okay, but 4.1 mini only does slightly worse, continues. All three model sizes have mastered needle in a haystack all the way to 1M tokens. That's great, but doesn't tell you if they're actually good in practice in long context. Then they check something called graph walks, then MMU, Math Vista, Char-Shiv reasoning, and video long context. Their charts are super helpful. Check them out.
Near OpenAI launched today. Very informative chart.
Image. The image shows a graph titled GPT 4.1 Family Intelligence by Latency, plotting 5 AI models as points on a chart. The vertical axis represents intelligence, multilingual MMLU, while the horizontal axis represents latency, with blue dots marking GPT 4.1, GPT 4.1 mini, and GPT 4.1 nano in descending intelligence order, and green diamonds representing GPT 4.0 and GPT 4.0 mini.
Kesku, this one speaks to me.
Image. The image shows a grid chart titled GPT 4.1, GPT 4.1 mini, and GPT 4.1 nano needle in a haystack accuracy, with long context noted in the top left. The grid appears to be uniformly colored in light blue, labeled as successful retrieval in the legend, with the x-axis representing input tokens, ranging from 10K to 1M, and the y-axis representing needle depth, ranging from 10% to 90%.
Other benchmarks. Mostly things have been quiet, but for those results we have, it is clear that GPT 4.1 is a very good value and a clear improvement for most API use over previous OpenAI models. Where we do have reports, we continue to see the pattern that OpenAI's official statistics report. Not only does GPT 4.1 mini not sacrifice much performance versus GPT 4.1, in some cases the mini version is actively better. We see this for Epic AI's tests and also for Weird ML.
Harvard Isle. GPT 4.1 clearly beats 4.0 on Weird ML. The focus on coding and instruction following should be a good combo for these tasks, and 4.1 mini does very well for its cost, landing on the same score, 53%, as Sonnet 3.7, No Thinking. Will be interesting to compare it to Flash 2.5.
Image. The image displays a chart titled Weird ML Average Accuracy Across 6 Tasks, comparing various AI models' performance. The graph features colored bars representing different models with their average accuracy scores displayed above, ranging from 0.61 to 0.08, while small geometric markers within each bar show performance on specific subtasks including Shapes Easy/Hard, Shuffle Easy/Hard, Digits Unsup, and Chess Winners.
Epoch AI. Yesterday, OpenAI launched a new family of models, GPT 4.1, intended to be more cost-effective than previous GPT models. GPT 4.1 models come in multiple sizes and are not extended thinking/reasoning models. We ran our own independent evaluations of GPT 4.1. On GPQA Diamond, a set of PhD-level multiple-choice science questions, GPT-4.1 scores 67% plus or minus 3%, competitive with leading non-reasoning models, and GPT-4.1 mini is very close at 66% plus or minus 3%. These match OpenAI's reported scores of 66% and 65%. Nano gets 49% plus or minus 2% above GPT-4o. On Frontier Math, our benchmark of original expert-level math questions, GPT-4.1 and GPT-4.1 mini lead non-reasoning models at 5.5% and 4.5% plus or minus 1%. Note that the top reasoning model, O3 Mini High, got 11% plus or minus 2%. OpenAI has exclusive access to Frontier Math besides a holdout set. On two competition math benchmarks, OTIS Mock AIME and Math Level 5, GPT 4.1 and 4.1 Mini are near the top among non-reasoning models. Mini does better than the full GPT 4.1, and both outperform the larger GPT 4.5. GPT 4.1 Nano is further behind, but still beats GPT 4o.
Image 1 shows an Epoch AI horizontal bar chart titled OTIS Mock AIM Accuracy for GPT 4.1 compared to leading non-reasoning models, displaying accuracy percentages for various AI models. Grok 3 leads with around 60% accuracy, followed by GPT 4.1 Mini at approximately 48%, while GPT 4o performs poorest at about 7%. Image 2 presents another Epoch AI horizontal bar chart titled Math Level 5 Accuracy for GPT 4.1 compared to leading non-reasoning models, showing performance on difficult mathematics problems. Grok 3 tops the chart at nearly 90% accuracy, with GPT 4.1 Mini and GPT 4.1 both performing strongly above 85%, while GPT 4o trails at only 50%.
I hadn't previously seen these strong math results for Grok 3.
Epoch AI, GPT 4.1 appears cost-effective, with strong benchmarks, fairly low per-token costs. GPT 4.1 is 20% cheaper than 4o, and no extended thinking. However, Gemini 2.0 Flash is priced similarly to Nano while approaching GPT 4.1 Mini in scores, so there is still strong competition.
Artificial analysis confirms OpenAI's claims with its intelligence index and other measures. Their website is here. The quotes are from their thread.
Artificial analysis, OpenAI's GPT 4.1 series is a solid upgrade. Smarter and cheaper across the board than the GPT 4o series. OpenAI's GPT 4.1 family includes three models: GPT 4.1, GPT 4.1 Mini, and GPT 4.1 Nano. We have independently benchmarked these with our Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index, and the results are impressive. GPT 4.1 scores 53, beating out Llama 4 Maverick, Claude 3.7, and GPT 4o to score identically to DeepSeek v3's 0324. GPT 4.1 Mini, likely a smaller model, actually matches GPT 4.1's Intelligence Index score while being faster and cheaper. Across our benchmarking, we found that GPT 4.1 Mini performs marginally better than GPT 4.1 across coding tasks, scoring equivalent highest on SciCode and matching leading reasoning models. GPT 4.1 Nano scores 41 on Intelligence Index, approximately in line with Llama 3.370b and Llama 4 Scout. This release represents a material upgrade over GPT 4o Mini, which scores 36. Developers using GPT 4o and GPT 4o Mini should consider immediately upgrading to get the benefits of greater intelligence at lower prices.
Image 1 displays a bar chart titled Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index, Non-Reasoning Models, showing comparative scores of various AI models across 7 evaluations. DeepSeek v3, GPT 4.1, and GPT 4.1 Mini tie for the highest intelligence score at 53, followed by Llama 4 Maverick at 51, with purple arrows highlighting selected top performers. Image 2 shows a scatter plot titled Intelligence versus Price, Non-Reasoning Models, mapping AI models by their intelligence score, y-axis, and cost per 1 mem tokens, x-axis. GPT 4.1 Mini stands out in the most attractive quadrant with high intelligence, 54, and relatively low cost, 42 cents, while GPT 4.1 shows good intelligence, 52, but at a higher price point, $3.50.
There are obvious reasons to be skeptical of this index. I mean, Gemini Flash 2.0 is not as smart as Claude 3.7 Sonnet, but it's measuring something real. It illustrates that GPT 4.1 is kind of expensive for what you get, whereas GPT 4.1 Mini is where it is at.
Artificial analysis. Our benchmarking results appear to support OpenAI's claim that the GPT 4.1 series represents significant progress for coding use cases. This chart shows GPT 4.1 models competing well in coding even compared to reasoning models, implying that they may be extremely effective in agentic coding use cases.
Image. The image displays a bar chart titled Artificial Analysis Coding Index, comparing various AI models' performance on coding benchmarks. Gemini 1 High leads with a score of 57, followed by Gemini 3 Pro Thinking at 55, while the GPT 4.1 family shows strong performance with GPT 4.1 Mini scoring 44, GPT 4.1 at 42, and GPT 4.1 Nano at 29, with purple arrows highlighting specific models in the ranking.
Artificial analysis, GPT 4.1 Nano and Mini are both delivering greater than 200 tokens per second output speeds. These models are fast. Our full set of independent evaluation results shows no clear weakness areas for the GPT 4.1 series.
Image. The image displays a comprehensive grid of bar charts titled Intelligence Evaluations, comparing various AI models across 8 different benchmarks. Each panel shows performance metrics for different categories including MMLU Pro, GPQA Diamond, Humanities Last Exam, Live Code Bench, SciCode, Human Eval, Math 500, and AMI 2024, with colored bars representing different models' scores and percentages clearly labeled above each bar.
Reactions. This is the kind of thing people who try to keep up say these days.
Hassan Khan, I can see GPT 4.1 replacing Sonnet 3.6 and implementing the changes I planned with Gemini 2.5 Pro. It's quite good at this. It's fast and cheap and does exactly what is needed, nothing more, nothing less. It doesn't have the overkill of Sonnet 3.7, slowness of Gemini 2.5 Pro, or the shortcomings of DeepSeek 0324.
Then you have the normal-sounding responses, also positive.
Reply. All guy, reactions are sleeping on 4.1 Mini. This model of a beast for the price, and lots of analysis missing the point that 4.1 itself is much cheaper than reasoning models. Never use price per token. Always use price per query. 4.0, less than 3.5 Sonnet, less than 4.1, less than 3.7 Sonnet. Haiku, less than 4.1 Mini.
Clive Chan. 4.1 has basically replaced 03 Mini for me in all my workflows, cursor, etc. Highly recommend. Also LOL at Nano, just hanging out there being 2x better than latest 4.0 at math.
Dominic Lukes, welcome to the model points race. 2.5, 3.7, 4.1. This is a welcome sign of the incremental times. Finally catching up on context window. Not as great at WoW as Claude 3.7's Sonnet on one-shot code generation, but over time it actually makes things better.
Padanon. Some use cases for GPT 4.1 Mini and Nano. Otherwise it's worse than Sonnet 3.7 at coding, and worse than Gemini 2.5 Pro at everything at roughly the same cost.
Nick Farina. It has a good personality. I'm using it in Cursor and am having a long and very coherent back and forth, talking through ideas, implementing things here and there. It doesn't charge forward like Claude, which I really like. And it's very, very fast, which is actually huge.
Daniel Parker. One quirk I noticed is that it seems to like summarizing its results in tables without any prompt telling it to do so.
Adam Steele. Used it today on the same project I used Claude 3.7 for the last few days. I'd say it a bit worse in output quality, but OTOH got something right Claude didn't. It was faster.
Oli. Feels very good, almost like 4.5, but way cheaper and faster and even better than 4.5 in some things.
I think mostly doing unprompted tables is good. Here is a bold but biased claim.
Aidan McLaughlin, OpenAI. Heard from some startup engineers that they lost several work hours gawking, stupefied, after they plugged 4.1 Mini/Nano into every previously expensive part of their stack. You can just do GPT-4.0 quality things 25 times cheaper now.
And here's a bold censorship claim and a counterclaim, the only words I've heard on the subject. For coding and similar purposes, no one seems to be having similar issues.
Senex. Vastly increased moderation. It won't even help write a story if a character has a wart.
Christian Fieldhouse. Switched my smart camera to 4.1 from 4.0. Less refusals, and I think better at spotting small details in pictures.
Jan Betley. Much better than 4.0 at getting emergently misaligned.
Justice for GPT 4.5. OpenAI has announced the scheduled deprecation of API access for GPT 4.5. So GPT 4.5 will be ChatGPT only, and GPT 4.1 will be API only. When I heard it was a full deprecation of GPT 4.5, I was very sad. Now that I know it is staying in ChatGPT, I think this is reasonable. GPT 4.5 is too expensive to scale API use while GPUs are melting, except if a rival is trying to distill its outputs. Why help them do that?
Accelerate harder. OpenAI announcing the scheduled deprecation of GPT-4.5 less than 2 months after its initial release in favor of smaller models is not a great look for the scaling hypothesis.
Gwern, no, it's a great look, because back then I explicitly highlighted the ability to distill/prune large models down into cheap models as one of several major justifications for the scaling hypothesis in scaling to expensive models you don't intend to serve.
Morgan. I feel Gwern's point too, but bracketing that, it wasn't entirely obvious, but 4.5 stays in ChatGPT, which is likely where it belongs.
Accelerate harder. This actually supports Gwern's point more then. If they don't want the competition distilling off 4.5, that would explain the hurry to shut down API access.
Safety third. This space intentionally left blank. As in, I could find zero mention of OpenAI discussing any safety concerns whatsoever related to GPT 4.1 in any way, shape, or form. It's simply, hey, here's a model, use it. For GPT 4.1 in particular, for all practical purposes, this is fine. There's very little marginal risk in this room given what else has already been released. Everyone doing safety testing is presumably and understandably scrambling to look at 03 and 04 Mini, I assume. But I don't know. Improved speed and cost can cause what are effectively new risks by tipping actions into the practical or profitable zone. Quantity can have a quality all its own. Also, we don't know that the safeguards OpenAI applied to its other models have also been applied successfully to GPT 4.1, or that it is hitting their previous standards on this. I mean, again, I assume. But I don't know. I also hate the precedent this sets. That they did not even see fit to give us a one-sentence update that we have run all our safety tests and procedures and find GPT 4.1 performs well on all safety metrics and poses no marginal risks. We used to have this principle where, when OpenAI or other frontier labs release plausibly frontier models, we get a model card and a full report on what precautions have been taken. Also, we used to have a principle that they took real and actually costly precautions. Those days seem to be over. Shame. Also, oh.
This has been an episode of the Don't Worry About the Vase podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please visit thezv.substack.com to support the author. If you enjoy having AI-narrated episodes, please note this is a listener-supported podcast. To receive new posts and support the cost of creation, consider becoming a subscriber at dwatvpodcast.substack.com. Thanks for listening.